Hi there, and thank you for clicking on my video. Today we're going to be discussing the Cobra and Crane Prime, the new weapon that just came out with Baruch. One, it's a gorgeous looking weapon. If it's got that one thing going for it. We're going to be discussing several build sets, starting out with basic Nubro, working up to combo counter with Prime builds, and then we're actually going to be skipping the heavy attack build for this because of the crit chance. Even though it does have a pretty decent heavy attack on it, but it's not something it excels at. And then we're going to be going into full frame builds where you start sacrificing stuff elsewhere on the frame to boost its damage, just to see sort of what its innate limit is. And we will not be doing helmets. So just basic builds to get a feel out of it. If anything, it's a damage showcase, seeing what the weapon is innately capable of doing. For my new bros, this is for you. If you farm this weapon up because you like the way it looked, but you're lacking mods, we're going to do a very bare bones basic build. So we have pressure point to increase the base damage. We're going to get some crit on here. Even though its crit chance is low, it's important to at least get 50%. Okay, it's important to at least get 50% crit chance. And this weapon isn't quite be able to do that. But going from 18 to 40%, you're going to be proccing enough crits for it to matter. So, of course, if we're doing crit, we need crit damage. Now, the crit multiplier on this is actually pretty decent. Not going to lie. 2 goes to 3.8 with Organ Shatter. We're going to do some attack speed. So, Fury. We're going to need some range. And what do we do with the rest of these slots? So we have our core multipliers, right? This weapon, due to the weighting of its innate IPS, this weapon does not have slash on it. But good news, it has 4 slash procs on the stance. But this weapon is designed based on its weighting. It's heavy impact weighting. We know that it's meant to kill corpus, which lore-wise makes sense, right? So we're actually going to put magnetic on here. And there we go. Okay, magnetic. And because of how the corpus shields are, as with all shields except for proto shields, toxin bypasses shields. So we're actually going to go for a heavier toxin weighting, and we're going to equip a 90 mod. Now, this isn't technically balanced, right? But it's good enough, because if you're brand new, you probably don't even have the 60/60 mods. If you've got 90s just for now, throw 90s on. You're going to be fine star chart level against the corpus. So let's take a look at what that damage looks like. And let's find something that is ideally not a complete trash mob. Alright, so Axio Elites, you're not going to find these on the star chart. These are Railjack guys. And they're 190s. They die like a trash mob, as they should. We get a big damage bonus against shields because of the magnetic on it. And we lose that bonus when we're attacking their health pool. But due to the occasional toxin proc and the force slash, our damage actually stays pretty relevant against their health pool. Good enough. Alright, let's go up in tier. We're going to go to combo counter and primed mods. For the new bros that are sort of in between, just equip the best of the mods that you can. It's going to be a similar build, but we're going to be going for a dot build. Berserker, Organ Shatter. Alright, so we've got our 6 core combo counter mods. Um, Condition Overload is now our damage. Blood Rush is now our crit chance. Organ Shatter still hanging in there. Berserker Fury is our attack speed. This one is up to you. You could do Gladiator Vice if you have it. And also Quickening to help build combo faster. It would make a lot of sense. Though, to be honest, I would probably stick to either Berserker Fury or Quickening. Also, there is Prime Fury. It does exist. So, those would be your options. This is damage up front. Berserker Fury does scale better, but it is on kill. Which, honestly, shouldn't be too big of an issue to keep up, because we're killing with dots and not raw damage. So we're going against Corpus. Good enough, right? So we'll do this, move this out there. So we're going to be going with a dot build. And the reason being is that raw damage builds favor crit damage, and that is not a strength of this weapon. Its crit damage is just barely enough. I think it gets to 97% crit chance, so it's enough to get you to the first crit tier, almost. But it's enough to almost guarantee a crit. So crit damage is still relevant with this weapon. But it's 18%, it gets you to like 97 and change percent crit chance. So we're going to equip Organ Shatter and Blood Rush to get the combo counter up there. But we're still mainly going to be dealing dots. Reason being is 38% status chance. Just to do a little bit of math. Weeping gives you 40% status chance per combo multiplier, so it's 40% of this. You don't start with, when you're running around with no combo, you're at 1x combo. So this doesn't kick in until 2, like a 2x. So this only goes to 11. So 11 times 40, hold on, 40% times 11 combo increases brings you to 440. So 38% plus 440% brings you to 205. That's why this is going to be a dot build. Is because each time you swing and you hit something, you're triggering 2 dots. So we're going to go with a faction mod. Now, what's the final one? Against Corpus, due to their shields, Toxin bypasses shields, so we're going to lean heavily into that, and we're going to equip a Prime Fever Strike. Again, for the new bros, if you're doing this build, if you have regular reach, run regular reach. If you don't have the Prime mod, equip the regular one. Same with Fever Strike. This is just going to cause you to do more damage, though. We are going to take a raw damage hit by equipping this build, because before it showed the damage from pressure point, but it's not that big of an issue because we're gaining force procs from the stance, which will then scale this. So we need attack speed in order to trigger the force procs on the stance as much as possible. Like, there's even slash on the stance. The stance is phenomenal. But also, one of the things that saves us a bit is Final Harbinger has an insane damage increase on it. It's one of the highest increases. Normally, if you're brand new, you're probably used to running around with like a 200 to 400% increase per second in your damage from the stance, because the stance does increase your damage. But Final Harbinger gets you to 800. It's a big increase, and it affects dots. So our raw damage is ironically going to be pretty good. And even the dots are going to benefit. So this is how we're going to scale this. I would highly recommend using this weapon against Corpus. Its initial IPS lets us know what it's going to be doing better against, because Impact is very effective against Corpus shields. And because this doesn't have any slash on it except for the force proc from the stance, it's not going to do very good against Grenier. So use this weapon as a tool against the Corpus. Though, to be honest, with a little bit of puncture, you could potentially do a corrosive build against the Grenier, but it doesn't excel at it because you really need slash for that. Okay, 190s again. Let's see how our damage is. Alright, we're now into the 30 to 40k. Seeing lots of yellows. 55k. Damage is getting respectable now. Okay. So how would we scale this further? One of the ways, and this is getting into more advanced builds, we're going to start moving toward sacrificing resources and mod slots and arcanes on the frame to boost the damage on this even further. And I'm going to skip priming because priming's pretty simple. Throw magnetic on something, shoot corpus with it, right? Magnetic viral, like you probably have a new core laying around or any primer that can use that. If you have a primer, what you're looking for is something that has magnetic on it, or something that has innate viral, so you can equip magnetic on it, because magnetic requires cold, so you can't do both of those at the same time. So that would be an ideal status combo against the Grenier, or not the Grenier. The corpus would be magnetic viral, right? So we're gonna keep it toxin, but we're gonna boost our damage more. And we're going to equip Arcane Strike. A simple increase, for sure. But because we now have attack speed on the frame, and the stance on its own is pretty zippy, we're actually going to swap out Berserker for more crit damage. Because reason being, I find myself doing this a lot. Because Arcane Strike triggers on crits. Berserker doesn't kick in until you kill something. So even if you run both of them, it's still pretty good. And let's see what our damage is. The numbers will be higher. So 80k, 100k, I'm seeing a 30. Yeah, 63k. The damage definitely went up. And because Arcane Strike is 60% and Berserker Fury is 75%, there is a slight decrease in like instances of damage. But the additional crit chance, or the additional crit chance from Gladiator Might, and more importantly, the additional crit multiplier, helps out those dots a ton. So, how do we scale this further? Well, we're going to incorporate armor strip, and this is going to be a helmet, but it's just more showing the damage of what it, like, its raw damage is. And to be honest, the raw damage is a little low, and I'm actually going to go to my other Baruch. So this is still raw damage. We are not boosting the damage. We'll put strike back on. Whoop. Okay. We are getting attack speed and armor strip from the frame. But we are not... we are now not increasing the damage from the weapon at all. So because of the helmets, just any form of armor strip is still really good. Actually, it's amazing. So no shields. That's something we don't have to burn through. Let's see how things do now. It should be about the same, but with these guys, they're mostly health pool. With a lot of normal corpus, they have much higher shields, and it's the thing that scales harder. So even if, like with those guys where they have mostly a health pool now, the shield is going to increase the further you go into the game. So it's not that big of a deal against the corpus, obviously, but it's just to show that even if you're running a toxin build, if you do want to go against the Grenier, just bring something that can strip. And I'll show an example of that. Alright, so the dots are 10k, 4k, 18k, 5k. But again, this weapon's more about multiple applications. Nice little 20k. They're not too high on the slash because that benefits from crit damage so much. But we're making up for it by getting multiple stacks of toxin because of the status chance on this weapon. So anything hitting against health pool is a trash mob, or anything that doesn't have armor or shields is a trash mob, and they just blow up regardless of how bad the weapon is. But this weapon is more about applying dots, but that would be a way that you could get like some of your damage back. So let's scale the weapon further. And you probably saw what I had on there. If I can spell it right. Combat Discipline Avenger. Very popular. We'll even sacrifice Energize. Just to show what the limit is. This build would have to be probably a little more duration oriented. Or I would have to fix the efficiency issue to be able to utilize this. Because with efficiency, even casting, Theros Strike, it's going to be a struggle at times when nullifiers start coming in to be able to keep your energy up. It's not going to be impossible, but it's going to be a struggle to keep your energy up with just the equilibrium flow combination. So this build as itself would be functional. It would definitely do something. But you would have to fix the lack of Energize, because I like to spam with Baruch, personally. Just building combo. Alright, we're at 35k. I'm seeing 47k's on the dots. Alright. And let's get a heavy attack in there. 160, not bad. Not anything to write home about, but it's a bit of damage regardless. And I think I still have the corpus mod on. Yeah, so there you go. 160 with the faction mode. And this is going to be kind of the limit without bringing in like additional helmets that actually buff damage. You could definitely talking about some alternatives, and obviously I didn't use Vigor Swap there. I probably should have. One of the things you can potentially do is talking about focus school synergies. Is if you, it is an option. It is up to you whether you want to use it or not. But Unaro has a strip, and it also has a shield strip also. And it's pretty effective. Like, this is one of the methods that people do like Demolus, kill Demolus with. If it's a, like you say you're doing a Lua disruption, right? Strip the armor, strip the shield, right? And you wouldn't have to worry about like the actual enemy's defensive scaling getting in the way, just the innate damage reduction from like the Demolus. Like, some of the Demolus have like a pseudo damage attenuation on them. Though technically some of them it is stronger, but this would be a way to further scale the weapon. So with that, these are basically the basic builds. As you can see, it's a very normal combo build. But it's just, I would highly recommend that anybody that wants to use this, take it against Corpus. It's where it excels. There is a massive difference between, you know, going up against the Grineer with this. And I guess I could show you the Grineer build, right? Like the innate damage. I didn't show that. You would use something, because we don't have the primed mod for heat on this. That's on the secondary. The damage isn't going to be as impressive. We lose a bit of raw damage. Um, but it's still effective, especially when you're stripping defenses. But you're not going to be doing that all the time. And to be honest, that's part of the reason why I take Thera Strike on this guy. So strip. Alright, we're getting oranges. 80k on armored. 63k. I think there was like 153k on something that might have counted as downed. So the damage is more respectable. Hitting for 5 figures, 6 figures is definitely steel path worthy. And I guess the only other way we could improve the damage more, I'm in love with this pet, and to be honest, I recommend as much as possible to take this pet. The big note of it is the synth set and Hunter Recovery. Hunter Recovery heals you for actually a tremendous amount, but the addition of Viral boosts your damage even further. Come on down, okay. We're gonna wait for it to spit. Cool. Alright, we're getting 100Ks regularly. I'm seeing a 170, 180, and finally a 223. So the Viral from the Panzer, let's be honest, is kind of cheat mode, but if we're going full on meta, best way to boost the damage. It's just free Viral stacks at this point. There's no reason not to take it. And the pet's immortal, so it's about as meta can get. Anything that doesn't die is a boon to a player in terms of their quality of life. So anyway, thank you for watching these builds. I hope you like the explanations. And again, I just due to the nature of the primed mod, use this sucker against Corpus. Right, like because of the prime mod, melee weapons do incredibly well with toxin dots, corrosive, and viral weighting, just due to the nature of the prime mod, because we only have one, right? So anyway, take it easy, y'all. Have a wonderful day. Have a blessed day. Stay excellent.